Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I am Mira, this is As Told Mira, and I am back today with a video, y'all. This one is all about nursing, long-term care nursing to be exact. For those who are new to my channel, I just want to say, hey, welcome. I am a registered nurse. 3-4 years, I can't even remember, y'all. It seems like forever. I've been a nurse for like 21, 22 years. I was an LPN for 18 years. Became an RN in 2019. I finished school in 2018, became an RN in 2019, so y'all can do the math. I actually received my bachelor's degree in nursing in December through an RN to BSN program. And I am now a bachelor's degree registered nurse. I feel like I've reached my personal pinnacle. I have no plans to go any further. If you just watched my last video, if you're new to my channel and you watch my last video, you see that I am actually trying to venture kind of out of nursing at this point, at least out of bedside nursing. Nursing, I would like for it to be my backup career. I would like my new business to flourish. But today, y'all, this is not about my business. This is about nursing, long-term care nursing. Y'all know I am back and working with the agencies and long-term care facilities. The very first and last contract I had in acute care was canceled when I was like 6-7 weeks in. And from then on, rates have been decreasing to the point where I don't even see where it's worth it for me to even take a contract in the region of the United States that I would like to take one in. Now, if I'm willing to travel to California, New York, even the Midwest have good rates. But right now, I'm not really open to doing that traveling. So here in the Southeast region, the rates are really not attractive enough for me to leave my family. Anywho, that's not what this is about. We are talking about long-term care, so stay tuned. If you like the information you've seen thus far, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel. I really don't ask people to do that often. I just figure if you like the information, you'll subscribe. But me, myself, while I'm on YouTube, I forget to subscribe to people's channels, and I'll go and watch 2 or 3 videos and forget to subscribe. So I'm going to start making sure I say that in every video. Please subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. This video is going to be a long-term care, particularly when you're starting a long-term care facility as a new agency nurse, which I do a lot lately. I've been going to more and more facilities, especially with me launching my business in a different city. I tend to like pick up shifts near that city, and I'm brand new to the facility, so I'm getting to know how things are run at that facility. So I made a video about this a couple years ago, but I'm going to bring it back for all, because there's been plenty of new graduates since then, nurses going into long-term care facilities as a first-time agency nurse. So I wanted to give you guys a guide of the questions to ask when you're receiving a report when you first walk into a facility. Okay, question number 1. When you first pick up the very first time you pick up a shift there, make sure they have login information. Okay, what I last said was first get I think my first was make sure you have your login information, because that can throw you behind on your med pass. If you're working morning shift med pass are normally heavy. They'll discourage you your first day working. They'll discourage you your second day working. They'll discourage you anytime you go to a new floor. But after learning your patients, and if you're there consistently, well, as an agency nurse, I'm not going to say you won't be there consistently. You may not. You can go to a facility one time, decide you never want to go again and never go. And then you can go to a facility another time, decide, hey, this really wasn't that bad. Let me get with the scheduler. Let me pick up some more shifts. So you can end up being at a place consistently, or you can end up not being there consistently. It all depends on how you like the facility and the facility's needs. Okay, but let me get back on track. Muriel, bring it back, because you will be all over the place. All right, secondly, while getting a report from the nurse, ask the patient, how do they take their meds, and what is their consistency on their fluids? Do they take their meds whole or crushed? Are they on thin, nectar, or thick, honey thickened liquids? You need to know this, because if a patient is a honey thickened patient and you give them regular liquids, they could strangle. It's not fun. It's not funny. And find that out. Sometimes the nurse don't know themselves. If they don't know, you can always go look in their chart. I know this takes time, but you can, sometimes you can, what you can do is you can look in their chart, or you can look on their medication orders and it'll say there. Sometimes if you get to the patient when they're getting breakfast, you'll see their liquids on their tray, because the kitchen will send honey, nectar, whatever liquids on their tray. Okay. Next question you need to ask: are any of my patients dialysis? What if you're passing meds and they come rolling in to get your patient? You didn't even know this patient was going to dialysis. Most facilities have a sheet you have to fill out where you have to get vital signs and stuff prior to the patient going to dialysis. A lot of facilities have a lot of agency CNAs, and sometimes the CNAs don't know this patient is dialysis, so they haven't even gotten to this patient to do their bath yet. You as the nurse, find out if your patient is a dialysis patient, and you could pass this along to your agency CNA as well. Let them know, hey, so-and-so is going to dialysis today, just so you both are prepared. Because a lot of the facilities I go to, it's like 70% agency as far as the nurses and the CNAs. So we're almost like the blind leading the blind, which is not good for the patients. But if you at least do the basic care that you're supposed to provide for the patient, you being new to them won't be a factor. Another question you should find out is, are any of my patients diabetics or brittle diabetics? Wanting to know if they're brittle diabetics makes a big difference, because a lot of patients get blood sugar checks at 6 in the morning, 6:30, but there are some patients who get blood sugar checks on you like 7:30. They've been moving a lot of blood sugars to 7:30. And this patient hadn't had anything to eat all night, hadn't had anything to drink. No one checked their blood sugar since 9 o'clock the night before. You might want to go and check on that patient first. You might want to go ahead and just do that blood sugar first. Like, you might want to go ahead and do this before they even get breakfast. You don't want to be the nurse that runs, and I have been this nurse. You don't want to be the nurse who's going along, doing everything. They've gotten breakfast, they eating breakfast, and you get to your you get to your 11th patient, and now you got to check their blood sugar. They were a 7:30 blood sugar. You've gotten to them, say 8:15, but they've already gotten breakfast. So find out if any of your patients are diabetics, and if they are any of them brittle. Okay. Then you will want to know, where's the appointment book? Because you want to know if any of your patients have appointments that day. You don't want to be same as dialysis. You don't want transportation to come up to pick your patient up, and you just, excuse the noise, y'all. You don't want transportation coming to pick your patient up, and that's when you're finding out they got an appointment today. You want to know that ahead of time. So you ask the nurse, the outgoing nurse, where can I find the appointment book? Hopefully they'll know. Another thing you want to know, how do I contact the physician? You want to find out where the physician book is. I have gone to facilities. I have gone to a facility, and as soon as I finish getting a report from the nurse, I say I'll finished getting a report like 7:30. By 8:15, I was sending the patient to the hospital because they were tachycardic. Their blood pressure was elevated. They were saying like they were very disoriented, and the staff was telling me that is not their normal. As far as their orientation and their cognition, they were like, that's not their normal. With the patient being tachycardic, elevated like the 120s, yeah, I'm sorry, she has to go. So I had to find out who the doctor was and call the doctor and let them know. And, and the patient was a dialysis patient as well. So anyway, like I said, you never know. You need to know, where can you lay your hands on where I can contact this doctor. And let me say, one of the final things you should know before letting that night shift nurse leave. Let me think. There was one more thing. Where is your charting book? You want to know who you have to chart on. You want to know who you have to do assessments on. One thing I realized, and I have done this before too, y'all, a good bit of agency nurses feel like they don't have to chart. They don't have to do assessments. They don't have to do anything other than pass the pills and keep it moving. No, you're in there working as the nurse. You have to chart. You have to do the Medicare charting. You have to do the body audits. You have to do these things as if you were a staff nurse. You're replacing the staff nurse for that shift for that day, but you are working, doing the same work the staff nurse is required to do outside of going to meetings and things like that. So find out the charting book. There are patients who have Medicare assessments, meaning you're basically like charting on their abilities from head to toe. I find that out in the beginning. I like to know what I need to chart on for my patients, because when I go in my patient's room, if I know that the patient has someone I have to chart on, when I'm in their room giving their medication, I'm talking to them. I'm assessing what they can do and can't do for themselves. I'm looking to see if they have any weakness in any of their limbs. I'm looking to see if there's a Foley here. I'm looking to see, different things. I'm looking when they're getting food. I'm looking to see, can they feed themselves? Are they I may ask the staff, is this person continent? Do they use a bedside commode? Do they, but I'm looking to see what they can do while I'm in there giving them their medication. So when I sit down to do my Medicare charting, I've already assessed this patient. I hate to say assess, because they claim LPNs can't assess, but you got us doing Medicare charting, which is basically assessing the patient's abilities. But I'm doing all that when I'm passing my medications. I promise you not. I go in there and I talk to the patient. Hey, so-and-so, how you doing today? I'm be your nurse. Can I ask you a few questions? I got to do an assessment on you today. If they're verbal, they'll tell me yeah. Or whatever they'll tell me, and I'll be like, oh, hey, have you been how's your pain at your worst? What's your pain level? What helps with your pain? Is your pain only when you're is it only positional? Has the medication been helping the pain? Are you in pain right now? If I see like they have some contracture or whatever, I'll look at their body. I'll see if they have, if they're a right AKA, left AKA, I look at things like, it only takes about 5 minutes, y'all. I'm not going to lie to you. It only takes about 5 minutes to do an assessment on a patient in a nursing home. You catch the CNA while the CNA is in there. Hey, if the patient has a wound, catch the CNA while the CNA is in there. When they're turning them over during their continent care, so you can see if they got an area on their sacrum. You can just look at the dressing and you could say area on sacrum covered with a dry dressing. Like, it's not like you got to go and say, area around skin is blanchable or pink or moist or slough observe or necrotic tissue. You really don't have to do all that, because that is being done by the wound nurse. You just need to if they say the patient has an area on their sacrum and the patient is turned over and there is a dressing intact to the sacrum, you can write dry dressing intact to sacrum, or dressing intact to sacrum. Like, it's really not that hard to do a set. I see a lot of nurses, they shy away from doing the charting on a patient. If you got a patient who's a body audit that day, catch the CNA while the CNA was in there. Matter of fact, tell the CNA, so-and-so is my body audit today. So when you go in there to change them, can you call me and can you let me know so I come in their room? Because the hardest thing to do is to turn a patient by yourself. The hardest thing about a body audit is actually turning the patient and undressing the patient who maybe has some left side or the right side of weakness or can't do it by themselves. That's why you go while the CNA is in there, so they can help you with these things. The way I do it is normally, if the CNA is in there, if it's a patient who can't turn themselves, while the CNA is in there, I go ahead and look at their bottom and I'll look at their peri area and stuff while they're doing their incontinent care. Then I'll go and look from head. I already did the peri area. I do head, chest, torso. I looked at the back when the CNA was turning them over. I look at the back of their legs, their back. I looked at all that when the CNA was turning them over. I'm not going to hold the CNA up, so I'm not going to try to do the full body assessment while they're in there. But what I'm going to do is when they turn them to clean them, I'm going to look at their buttocks. I'm going to look at their sacrum. I'm going to look at their coccyx. I'm going to look at their peri area. I'm going to look at all that while the CNA is in there. And I'm going to look at their back because they're already turned. Then I'll let the CNA finish what she's doing. When the CNA leaves, I'm not going to hold her up. I'm going to look at the torso. I'm going to look at the feet. I'm going to look at the legs. I'm going to take the sock. I'm going to do all that. But I'm not going to hold the CNA up while I'm in there to do that. I can do that alone. I don't need the CNA in there holding them over for me to do that. So that's just a bit of word of advice. I'm the type of nurse, I try to go ahead and do everything first thing in the morning while I got that burst of energy. And I'm able to do it if I have less, because usually when the visitors are coming in, they're not really coming in first thing in the morning. You might have one or two that trickle in first thing in the morning. They normally start trickling, really coming in the afternoon and after 3 o'clock and things like that. So I try to do the most I can in the morning while I got that burst of energy before I'm worn down. Because honestly, if you wait until like 3 o'clock to do a body audit or whatever, you're not going to want to do it. You're going to be tired. You're really not going to want to do it. My 5 to 7 o'clock in the evening is really my 5 to 7 o'clock in the evening is reserved for charting unless I'm getting a new admission. And if I'm getting a new admission, when you get a new admission, y'all, that kind of changed the game a little. You got to kind of regroup when you get a new admission. but doing a body assessment and all that is still, I still do it the same way. But yeah, those are my tips as a new agency, as a nurse going into a new facility through agency. Those are the things I would advise that you ask for first and foremost when getting a report from the off-going nurse. Hopefully, the off-going nurse is someone who's familiar with the patients. Anyway, guys, this is a short little video. I just wanted to address some of the things I feel like as a nurse going into a new facility. These are the things you need to ask them, or kind of help you along in your day to passing your medications, taking care of your patients, and hopefully make your day go smooth. Anyway, guys, I'm Muriel. This is As Told by Muriel, and I will get back with you guys on another video. Don't know what the topic's going to be. They just kind of come to me. So y'all have a good night. Bye.